Welcome back, everybody, to episode 7 of Behind the Grind. I actually kind of had episode 7 recorded a little bit, but I didn't like really make it official. So, given that I don't edit these, I wanted it to be like a little more crisp. But we had a good session previously, so a couple good sessions. So, if you guys can see real quick, I always like to note we were at 42.79, just for transparency's sake. People like to see the numbers. Like, I don't really care, honestly. But because this series does involve so much grinding, like you actually will get to see a meaningful, sample and like see things grow and decline and this and that. Whereas when you just see people like, clip hands here and there, like seeing like how much they go up and down in a single video doesn't really matter because, they're only showing you curated like amounts. Whereas like I really am showing you, for all intents and purposes, like my full sessions. Like I'm going to play for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours or so. Like we'll see. But I am going to show you basically everything. Like I don't really, when I do these sessions, it's almost like a stream in a way where like you're going to see every hand. Like that's kind of like what I mean by like a stream. Like you're going to see every single hand, but I just don't do it live. I don't really want to worry about like a delay or a chat or this or that. So you probably won't really ever see me streaming too much poker on this channel. Like sometimes I will stream poker because like I'm doing random stuff on a different channel, but like I don't like advertise it. Like I'm kind of close to the vest with this channel. But yeah, I love having you guys and I love giving content to you guys. So I will always be doing this for as long as I can. But yeah, shout out to the new homie in the Discord. I'm sorry I forgot your name already. It was started with an S, I think. But yeah, always good to meet new people. Always good to meet new friends. Ooh, we got a 43. Sorry, a 40 VPIP. Sorry, $40 stack and a 73 VPIP. My gosh, 72. I can't really talk right now. Anyway, the last time that I played was, let me check my notes, was I think earlier today. Yeah, earlier today at 4:30, out at 7. Sorry, out at 5:30. And just a quick little session, but then I had some deliveries on the way, so I kind of stopped playing for a little bit and, took care of all my chores, and now we're back. So we'll do a little micros to kind of get back into it, and then we'll check small stakes after, 30 minutes or so of some micros. So let's just open up. I like to do at least, for me, when I say micros, like I know we have NL2 right now, but like I've never really played NL2 in my life, nor is it something that I'm super interested in right now. It's just like really, 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 really low. So I'm going to ignore that for now, and we're going to consider like NL10 like the lowest one, and then of course we'll play some NL40. All right, so we've got a 29.9 and a 72 here. We're going to give it the old 6-7 open size. Pretty mediocre board to bet. We would have to barrel here, and it's very foggy. There's so many hands, hard to know like where you are in the hand when when you're betting and people are calling. So I elect to simply kind of give up the hand from an early perspective, an earlier street, like not really fight too hard for it. But it's certainly a spot where you could go bet a couple streets, but I wouldn't really recommend it as a default. I think it's nice to do it maybe when you're trying to establish a looser image after you have been playing tight for a while. Unfortunate that they leave. Or if you just like, know someone is prone to folding to, multi barrels. But anyway, let's just keep looking, keep going. I wouldn't be shocked if this guy left as well. I wouldn't be, but I'm going to take my button though, because we were small blind that hand, and we will get a small blind again, because that's technically our button. And that's like, when I get down to heads up, I'm taking my button. Like that's a good tip for, heads up. Like I'll leave the next hand, but I'm taking my button. I am absolutely taking my button. We will probably just win the pot, but like maybe they want to get speculative with ace high, Maybe they really don't believe us. They're like, this guy really has a boat, Our one hand heads up, you really have a boat. We'll be 6-7 here. Let the memes speak for themselves. We'll let the memeage speak for ourselves. This guy has a 6-7 VPIP. Holy cow. Holy cow. 71 VPIP over here. I actually think we're just going to put in like a nice little modest 6-7 again. Like, what are you going to do? Fold to me now? With your ace high? You're really going to fold with ace high? We're still gone though. They weren't like anything special worth, staying for. Okay, we got a 56% right there. As I said in episode 1, I think memeage in poker is very important. The more you can meme, the better life is. It's really just like me being stupid. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so sorry. Please do not take too much seriousness in anything that I do, especially because from just like a general perspective, like I don't care about anything. I really don't. So the one thing that I really do care about, I guess you could say, is making good poker decisions. And the reason why I choose the meme numbers is because A, they just look funny on, the recording content creation side of things. But B, they are actually like genuinely very good starting points. I have my PFR. I mean, bro, he's only got 73 big blinds, but like, why not, man? We'll put the meme number against the meme opponent. But I got my PFR or my preflop raise size is set to 4.2 because like 4x is just like a good number, and so being generally near 4x is fine. I had my numbers before were 4x, 6x, and 9x, so I simply changed it from 4x to 4.2 and from 6x to 6.7. And to me, like the little bit of silliness like makes me laugh, so it's worth it. And honestly, like I would size up from 6 big blinds to 7 big blinds anyway, and like the difference being going like kind of halfway between sometimes is fine, and people are gonna see the number and they're gonna know what I'm doing, and they're gonna think that it's stupid, and they're gonna think that I'm like messing around or this or that, and like it will at certain times elicit some kind of response. Oh, I want to call here, but I don't think I should, given the short stack right over here. Like they're like fucking up the whole hand here. They're really fucking up the whole hand here because like they folded, son of a bitch, dude. I mean, honestly, here's the problem too: is they don't have a lot of money either. They don't have a lot of money either. But yeah, they were definitely messing up the whole hand because like they call and then like a single C bet, and you can't really like draw or anything. Like, and there's no bluffing when certain cards hit and this and that. Like it just takes all the options off the table when a short stack is in the game. So that's why like it's kind of funny. People who are newer to poker, they don't fully understand that when someone just sits down, or sorry, when someone is at your table and they are at a shorter stack in cash games, that is the power position. And it's like, how's that the power position? Because your stack is the effective stack. Okay. Like, it's not like people are going to play more money than you have. So you really are the one who is like dictating and driving the action. The game like kind of starts like once you fold. It's when you can just shove over any open size that you really do have a lot of control and a lot of power. All right, these tables are kind of ball sack, so we're going to jump into some 40 as well, slash add some 40 to the mix, see what we can do here. All right, we'll play against, I've talked about these guys so many times, but like a 54 is like such a stupid number, and I hate playing against these players because they're like bad and they will lose money too, but like I promise you guys, and I don't know what it is, but the 54 is not as bad as they look. They're like a 50-14 is like complete fucking trash. Complete trash. They almost always suck horribly. But a 54, sometimes they're just harder to read, man. That's all I can say. They're just harder to read. They this whole table's falling completely apart. Jesus Christ, man. I'm leaving here too. Forget it. Forget it. We're at literally 0 tables. But this is behind the grind. Like sometimes you start and it's like, I'm not sitting at shitty tables. Like we're talking like win rates and such before. And it's like I don't ever mention that kind of stuff to brag or anything. I only talk about it to show like what's literally attainable at these games. And to get high win rates at these games, you have to be so insanely diligent with your table selection and seat selection. Like, I mean, you have to be like, all right, man, this guy's got 62%. They only got like 70 V or 70 what you call it, BB here and there. Now this guy's 72 with a full stack, so I think we got to take his position to them. Take position to them and just accept that we're going to play hands with these guys. And if you're not diligent with this, like you're not going to have a big win rate. Like I'm sorry, like, and it's not like mean or this or that, but it's like this is literally one of the biggest steps required to having a huge win rate is being extremely picky and nitty and bum hunty with your whatever the hell words you want to call it. This is the table that we were just at, and now this guy who had 35 BBs before now doubled up, so we could maybe consider sitting back down here. Because like we basically are just taking the same seat again now. Now we have 2 tables. Quick little mini fish report where we have 2 seats direct position to someone who's got 70 big blinds, 20 big blinds, and we have 72 VPIP and a 67 VPIP. Like, that's amazing. That's really good. You want to have that kind of shit. Like we actually just took our last seat from before, but this guy now has more money. It's worth playing here again. So I know it looks like we've been jumping around. I might even look a little fucking crazy doing all this, but I'm gonna pretty much promise you that like this is how you do it. You play in a relatively just nitty manner, honestly. Like that's the beauty of online, bro. Is I mean, sure, like I'm gonna say this is like you have no name, no face, this and that. It's like whereas me here, I'm literally putting my face out there and showing you guys like what I do and this and that. So it's like I don't care. I have no issue showing how to win in some of these smaller games. I could have made it bigger here, but like I don't care. Brand new table, like you're gonna still make so much. I'm brand new to the table, is what I should say, and you're still gonna make so much on equity and EV by simply raising normal anyway. So let's just raise, get it in, yada yada. Bad player, all that. What do they have? Just out of curiosity, 8 and 8. We get lucky with the flip so far, and it holds. That is simply poker. Like that's not really. Did they? Fuck. They left. We really wanted that 72 VPIP with the 200 BBs to stay. Like that really made the table right there. All right, you open button 19%. We can handle that. We can handle that. What do you got? 53.18. Delightful. 100 BBs. We'll take this right here, 50 something odd percent, and then a 41%. Was it 58%? 59% and a 40%. All right, I'm gonna check let them dictate the action. It's hard to have a donking and checking range here. They do bet really small, so we're gonna just check and then, ooh, raise all in on this turn. I would have probably honestly just like check called, especially a bet of this size, and then just see what they do. Like probably just check call most rivers anyway. But I'm gonna check raise a non all in number, but still like committal. You know, like just getting like just chunky value whenever they do have a draw. Chunky value whenever they do happen to have the draw. 70-18. Is that the guy from before? Buys him for 20? No way, right? Hold on, it tells you here. It tells you here. The hell is his name? Nah. No. It was different person. Same avatar, though. Same avatar. Right? I could donk here. I have, so many backdoor draws. You know, I have the backdoor diamonds. I have, sorry, not so many. Sorry, I have backdoor draws, and I have like the outs of just 4x or hitting the queen. I'm gonna bet again, honestly. Like I could represent an ace. Why the hell not? You don't have to have an ace. If you have like a 6, you might fold. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? We are pretty much, yeah. No more money goes in the pot right now. I don't know how else to word it. No more. The fuck? The fuck? Oh, poker's alive and well, folks. Anyway. The fuck, bro? How do you not bet that shit on the end? What did you think I was like, gonna check raise on with ace jack or some shit? Are you shell shocked? What happened to you, bro? Who hurt you, fam? Who hurt you, bro? Damn, I haven't seen something like that in a long ass time. Like that's is that a misclick? Because that was egregious. That was egregious, bro. Anyway, B6-7 here is delightful. You got 2 overs, backdoor, clubs, and the gutter to the nutters. So it's like the only thing going against you is it's a dirty draw because you have the hearts out there. To any of y'all who are new to my vernacular, I know it's not an official poker term, but I would like to make it an official poker term. If you have a draw, it's like exactly right there. Like say take the club away, because that makes it like that cleans it up a little bit, but no club right there, I call that a dirty gutter, because you have the gutter but only 3 of your 4 outs are clean. When you hit the 10 of hearts, it's going to be, you know, it puts the straight flush out there, you know, it's like you're really not good. But yeah, I like that term. I've been using that for like the last 6 months or so, just to kind of clean up in my own brain. Like not every open ender is an open ender, not every gutter is a gutter. Like sometimes it's clean, sometimes it's dirty. 8 outs is way fucking better than 6 outs. You know, and the same thing when you're talking about your gutters. 4 outs is much better than 3 outs. I think we will go for a modest 420 here, just because we've established like that these guys suck at this point. We want to start getting chunky value. Raises like this, you know, that are like over 4x, this and that, are like just what I call like egregious. You know, like we should not in theory be raising this big, like raising 4x, 6x, 7x, like just straight open raising, like not even over limps, like just open raising to these sizes. But once you've established that someone is so fucking bad that they're going to call you and like just completely dominate their range, it's almost like you have to. You really do have to. All right, weird play. Like you're going to have to get behind me on this one. But you, every time I try this shit with like aces and such, it gets a lot of folds. So sure, sometimes people have jack X, but hey, also it just goes to show that you can't play this for value like this as well. But we turned so much equity that it's like, our hand is so strong too, again, like our action, I'm sorry, is so strong too against 2 players, that I felt like it was a good spot to just kind of, you know, just try to get one of them off their mediocre hand. But if you want to do this with like, and the reason why I say this is because I do this with ace so freaking often, and it just like gets folds. So this is the only way that I can mix it up and balance it and not be completely, what do you call it? And not be completely one-sided, you know, is I have to do it with some draws some of the time. You guys see how often I put in, you know, B167 or B200 on the turn with like a value hand. Like you gotta do it with something other than a value hand every once in a while, just for the sake of like literal RNG, you know. You have to actually be balancing yourself, like just to, because once again, there's so many times when you do that and you're gonna get fold so many times, and that sucks. So you might as well try and get fold with your turn huge equity. This is kind of sus, but I think we're chopping with like we're chopping with their aces that aren't boats, and we're beating their nothing. So like just let them keep bluffing. You know, they're bluffing on the flop. I mean, I think they probably thought they might have been betting for value. I don't really know. I don't really know. The only thing that sucks about that hand now is that guy left. Probably had a heart attack. I can't believe I hit on the river. Oh my god, that was so sick. Biggest pot of their life. Biggest pot of their life. It's like how it's how I picture people behind the other side of the screen. Just like hyperventilating when they like when they win and then leave immediately. Like they just can't handle the stress of winning a 300 big blind pot. Oh my god. Can you believe I won that? Close. 9 is the only overcard, you know, backdoor clubs. Backdoor straight. Now 9's really less likely, but it's like 2 opponents. I don't know. Alright, whatever. 111's fine. Check call. They can try to rep a 9. So like everything misses. I mean, you have to. You just have to. It is what it is, man. It's poker. I really truly believe that, even though like 9x is so likely. Or better. 9x or better. But like if you're not check calling here, then like you really are just like check folding to everything. And while certain plays like say never bluffing with like a flush draw in that previous hand, or like never check calling with the bluff catcher there, I think is like not the worst thing in the world, because you know micros really are very predictable. But man, it sucks to be playing so face up. It really does. We delay c-bet here, I think is fine, because the board on the flop was like a little sus. We could have c-bet though. It's fine. It's fine. But now we have a lot more equity, and they've checked twice. The thing about these hands, like I've really, for some reason, I don't know why it took me 20 years, bro. I don't know why, but in this last year, it just really clicked with me. Just like how much like the board is one thing and the actions are another thing, and like seeing 2 checks on a 10, 7, 4, 9, 3 flush board is way better than seeing 1 check on a 10, 7, 4 flush draw board, because you just get so much more information off that second check. Like that second check is so valuable. I just never really valued it that much back in the day, I guess, or like in my previous stints of playing poker. But now I really do take people at face value. It's like if you're gonna check twice and tell me you got absolutely nothing, then I am gonna bet my shit right here. Whereas on the flop, people check everything to you. They check absolutely everything. So once you check back, the onus is now on them to start the betting lead. And if they don't, it really says they ain't got shit. So I think that is why I really don't mind checking back at times, whereas before I was like, oh man, c-bet this, c-bet this, c-bet this, and it's like half the reason that we c-bet is because we can, you know, barrel the turn, barrel the river, and like continue the story. You know, you can't continue the story if you don't bet the flop. But the value of continuing the story isn't really as high as the value of seeing what they do on the turn against a capped range, because that tells you even more. That tells you even more. So check here, tough spot. Ooh, not a tough spot. Just B167 on the turn and win it. Honestly, if they bet the flop, it's like not a tough spot, but you know we have to actually consider and make a choice. But it's actually one of those hands where you can literally do anything from a continued perspective. Like just don't fold. You know, you can call, you can raise small, you can raise big against say a like a typical 1/3 size c-bet right there, because you have kind of so much going on, but it's like nothing's great, but it's a lot. You know, you have the open ender, but it's dirty because the board's paired. But you do have the backdoor flush draw, but it's not to the nuts. But you do have a backdoor straight flush draw, which is to the nuts. So but it's incredibly rare that you'll ever hit that. So it's like there's just so much going on right there that I think you have a lot of options from like a game tree perspective. That is like one thing too. Also, you know, kind of getting into like what did I learn in 2025? You know, that's a funny idea of a video, but you know, we can kind of just get into some of that stuff right now, since I did spend so much time playing cards this year versus like the last several years. And the solver really does love to do shit when it has like those extra outs, those backdoor straight flush outs, those backdoor straight outs, those overcards, those like that's when the solver really is okay with going balls to the wall right there. That's why I think that a check raise is okay, because then also when you're played back at, you can just fold, you know, like you're not like gonna draw to your most likely draw, which is just your open ender. And it's like on a dirty draw with a board being paired, like you just fucking fold, you know, it's simple. So, but it really puts the onus once again on your opponent then there to have a big hand, you know, to actually have something reasonable. And, you know, if you get check raised on that board and you have ace, ace, like how happy are you? Like, I'm not happy. I'm just like calling at that point and like, and like doing the whole sizing timing thing and hoping that they read weak basically. And then I can continue from there. And that's why boards like that are cool. This one less so, to a similar extent, but less so. Much less so. All these tables suck right now. Everything sucks. This is all awful. Let's go play some small stakes. What are we at right now? Only 20 minutes. Wow. Feels like a lot, but I think it's because I've been talking about a lot. But I try to like save up and kind of like, you know, have a lot to talk about, because once again, we're not editing these. We're just gonna show you the raw grind. And the reason why we do that once again is to 10x open is just like fucking ridiculous. I have no idea what you have, but I'm not gonna play my ace 10 offsuit, but I would have played it for like probably 5 to 6x or less, you know. But yeah, I don't edit these because I want to show you guys like every moment of thought, every type of decision, like those little ums right there, just trying to figure out exactly what's going on here. Now, this is a very overzealous bet 5 ways, but we do represent the ace, we do have the gutter, we do have the back door, so it's like there is a lot going in our favor, but we're certainly not going to barrel here under really any circumstance, given that it's pretty much impossible to get anyone off of an ace. The only thing you can really consider doing here on a card this good is maybe betting 1/3 and trying to set your own price for the river. That's like the only logical choice. It's like we effectively have an open ender right here, gutter to the 7, gutter to the 3, and it's a clean draw. Like there's no flush draw available. It's a rainbow board. So like betting your own amount and like not letting somebody else like kind of push you off your draw, I think is a fine play right there. And as you can see, it worked. We got our river card. We did not hit. Yeah, and we get to just check fold, but we didn't have to like check call like a $4 bet. We did not have to check call a larger bet. So that's why it's like it wasn't really even a barrel. Like it was because a barrel is like with the intention of like getting your opponent to fold some of the time. Whereas like I was pretty damn confident there was about a 0% chance we were getting anyone to fold right there. We just simply wanted to see the river for our own price. Should probably leave that table. Should probably leave all these tables. Yeah, no, I'm done here. All right, so let's go to the wow, there's so many. It's so wild sometimes, like how many tables of 100 are playing. Sometimes like there's a lot of 1-2 right now, 1 cent, 2 cent. There's a lot of everything playing right now, I guess. Jeez. I mean, with a fish like that in the small blind, it's kind of hard to not raise. Let's just like look at the very top. Not that I'd ever really play any of these games, but it's always fun to watch. So just out of curiosity, just chilling with 10K, just hanging out. Hanging out with 10K. What do we got up here? 248. I have played it. 248 is the highest stake on this site, but the rake is actually rather high, so I don't really like feel like it's a very good value, honestly. Like unless you just happen to find a table of a bunch of huge fish, which is like pretty rare these days on Club Dub. So the real value is often found in the NL 100 games, as a lot of people have kind of reasonably assessed. We'll keep this table, actually. This table's still fine. Min raise is cool from first position. And let's just start hunting some small stakes fish. Really? I'm going to go 2x, you're going to go 3x? Well, I'm going to go cold. No, not cold call. I'm going to go flat call, my friend. Cold calls when you haven't actually put any money in the pot yet, whereas I'm flat calling because I am simply not putting more money in the pot. But I could just say call as well. But we are going to XF here. 38 BB is like really a very, like if this person wins this pot, like maybe doubles up even, like then I'm snap taking this seat. But without that, it's like, dude, it's just not worth it, man. It's not worth it to put the effort into this table when you could like try to find another table, bigger fish, this and that. Like that's a guppy. We want a whale. That's basically it. Like they're EV, they're free money. 6112, like that's the exact kind of person we were talking before. Like we want like a 5014. 6112 is even worse. And once again, the reason why you want like a 12 PFR versus like a 4 or 5 PFR is because, bro, I swear to fucking God, those 4 or 5 PFR players, they are some of the sneakiest bastards that you'll find in poker. Like they'll flat aces, they'll flat kings, they'll flat ace king suited and all that shit. So like you'll think you're dominating them on an ace high board. You're not. You're not. You'll be betting like ace jack on a jack high board and they'll show up with kings and you're like, oh, okay. Like I swear to you, I don't know what it is, but it's those people that don't like to raise a lot pre-flop. They really don't. They do what I like to do in Omaha, which is like I don't really like to just 3-bet my aces straight up, especially if I have good aces, like decent aces. What I like to do is call and then try to back raise those all in because you get so much more value if you can put in like a chunky 4-bet versus a like pot size 3-bet, which gives everyone equity to call. So like they really have either been burned so many times or this or that, whatever. But yeah, those 4 or 5 PFR players, dude, I swear, or less, it's like you never know what they're gonna show up with. Whereas this guy right here, sorry, where they go? This guy right, oh, they did double up. Fuck yes. The people who raise 12%, bro, they raise like the top 12%, and you always know what they have. You are always confident at your hand reading ability, at where you are in the hand with them, because they truly play some of the most face-up poker you'll ever see. Like look for stats like that. Anything between like, and it's kind of funny too, because like the sweet spot really is like between 10 and 20% PFR. Because like once you get above 20% PFR, then their PFRs get a little tricky. Then they start three betting a little more, and it can be like just harder to play against by virtue of aggression is a strong tactic in this game. So you want to be up against like the easiest people to play against, really. And I mean that's just obvious and logic and this and that. But I'm still going to talk about it because that's what Behind the Grind is all about. All right, so we got one good seat. Let's just keep clicking and figuring it out. Keep clearing my throat whenever I can. So with sessions like this, I basically like to kind of just go for as long as I possibly can. Like I'll set myself up in terms of, like we're really getting to the nitty gritty of all this, but like, use the restroom. I have my drinks right here, but I don't drink them a lot. You know what I also have my right here? Oh, you can't even see it because it's freaking green. My gum. I have gum right here because say sometimes you get dry mouth, but it's like you've been drinking a lot of water and you don't want to have to use the restroom, like be running back and forth. Little gum, mint gum, goes a long way. Little mint gum goes a long way when you're a little parched. So just like these little things to have. Also, like this is completely random, I know, and it's like probably hard to tell or see, but I am at a standing desk. I use a standing desk. I don't sit down when I play. I do have a stool nearby, like so like I can sit down when I get kind of tired. It's like a bar stool, like a bar size stool, but it's an adjustable desk, so I can put it down if I want to, but I have not since I bought it. I love the standing element. It's basically like I'm working at a countertop like thing. Or sometimes what I'll do is I'll put the stool right here. I'll kind of put like one foot up, just any random little position changes. But that for me helps me grind a tongue. I used to sit, forever, just like, I would say 99% of people when they're on a computer, they are sitting because that's the natural thing that we do in America, at least, is we sit on the computer. And for me, I just found that does not work for long term. If I want to play for an hour, sitting is great. But I have to stand up and stretch after an hour minimum. So it's like, why not just stand up and stretch the whole time? So for me, I stand up and stretch the whole time. And this is, of course, just a specific configuration. Like you have to build your life the way you build your poker game, in that it has to be right for you and it has to be plus EV. And I know that standing is better than sitting, just from what you hear on the news. It's like sitting in the lethargy and fatigue and this and that is like as bad as smoking cigarettes or this or that. I mean, I'm sure it's not as bad, but when you hear as many physicians and this and that talk about how bad it is to be like stationary all day, it does feel like, oh shit, like I better, get my ass up from time to time. So that's why when I moved in August, I had like a kind of a fresh slate apartment to kind of do what I want with. I went to IKEA and bought the standing desk. Nothing super fancy. It did cost about $300, but worth every penny. Worth every penny. And this wasn't even my only option. Like there were plenty on Amazon that you can get for half the price. Maybe not quite as big. I have like a lot of space here, but the standing element is so much more important than the spatial element. Like I would just bought two of the cheaper ones, or this or that. Like if I really needed more space. So nice hand here on the 100 table, but unfortunate that everyone folds. So we're just gonna go click the MR button, look like we're trying to put out a little steely steal, and then maybe someone can feel some type of way about that in the big blind or in the blinds. So I mean, honestly, bro, like, oh, this guy's only got $20. I was like, even even with $6 in the middle and he 100 behind, I'm like, I can get it all. I'll just be 167, be 167, be 167. I'll get every fucking penny. I don't care. But for this element, I'm just gonna bet modest and try to take it. I don't care. I can't really think too hard about it. I'm sorry, my tables are like so askew and out of whack as I try to get them to 4. We have not been at 4 tables all session. It's been mostly me rambling, which like hopefully still provides some value. Now this guy's got a 61 VPIP, so we gotta put the 2.5 out there with the A7 off, even though we just raised last hand, I know. But yeah, with this guy being in the, yeah, I know. I'm just gonna fold. The street poker player in me wants to 4-bet this guy so bad, but I'm not going to. I want to play against him. That's why I opened the hand. It wasn't to get into some battle with this guy. It wasn't to get into some battle with a different reg. This right here is like a really close do I want to take this seat type action here? Sure. All right, we don't think about it now because someone else took it. You're gonna raise here, so I actually think calling is the best play to get him in with whatever he has. He folds. Interesting. Okay. I was really hoping that he would want to, donate some money to the cause. Any 1-2 going on? No, it doesn't look like it. I didn't even really look actually before. And I don't know what it is, and I've never really had this issue. I've always actually kind of liked doing it, but one thing that I took to heart really early on in my poker career when I heard this advice was like always play the best game in the room. Like it doesn't matter what, like you don't want to be a this player or that player. You don't want to be an NL 100 player. You don't want to be an NL 50 player. Back when we had 50, I guess it's 40 now. You don't want to be an NL 200 player. You don't want to be a PLO 100 player. This or that. You want to be a best player in the room player. If the best game in the room is limit hold'em 25-50, you want to be playing limit hold'em 25-50. If the best game in the room is stud high low, you want to be playing stud high low. Excuse me. Like if the best game in the room is basically where the biggest fish is, that's where you want to be. You want to be able to play, you want to be capable enough to play any game that has the worst poker players. So while I don't play like a lot of mixed games, and I don't really love to play other variants, like I just am so much more fond of the board games. Like I do like PLO. I am always going to prefer Hold'em to anything, I would say, simply because I'm always going to probably know Hold'em more than anything else. So it'll just always be a comfort pick for me, like just to know where I am and what I'm doing and this and that. But PLO is great and such. But the main thing that I'm going to, I'll use that logic and apply it to the stakes in the game. Since you can like see the stats of the players on this site, which is such a cool feature. Like I'm so glad that we have that here. I know that you can do that on like say GG Poker, but we don't have GG Poker. So this is the first time that I've played on a site that allowed you to do this kind of thing. And it basically just means like you just want to be where it has the best seat, man. You just want to be in the most plus EV seat possible, like whatever your bankroll dictates and whatever your skill allows. So like for me, I don't really want to go too much above like the 248. Like that would be like, I'd probably get a little smacked up, honestly, like given my own skill level. Like playing live, I play higher than that, but those players play worse than the 100 players on this site. So like the regs who play NL 100 here are definitely better or just as good as like a 510 player live, like pretty much the same thing. So playing 510 plus online is like kind of asking for it. I better be on my P's and Q's. I better have everything, tightened down and ready to roll and be ready to go with the variance that comes with it. And it's like, I really don't feel like, going on a, 4, 6, 8K downswing on a site where I only have 4K on. So that's why I think that like keeping it to just the small stakes games and below for me at this point is kind of logical, because you can make so much from the small stakes games and below. Like there really is no need to go that much higher. For me, if I'm going to go higher, it's like just go higher live. Like there's no need to go higher online. That's half of the reason why I moved back to LA, is because I am within 30 minutes of 4 casinos that I can go play 2-5 plus at any time of the day, because I live near the Commerce Casino. And that is the one casino in America that pretty much has 510 going 24/7. I check a lot of the Bravo, the Poker Atlas, and like I know America right now. Like the big regions are, not really New England. New England's like a medium region. That's where I was last time, or that's where I was previously grinding. Florida's a pretty sizable region. The MDVA region, as they call it, like the Maryland and Virginia area, but it's really more Maryland, Pennsylvania, like the MDPA. We call it MDVA in Smash Bros, because like that's where kind of all the Smash players kind of reside. But in poker, it's really more MDPA. It's more Maryland, Pennsylvania, because you got Parks. There's another big one up by that area in PA. But then of course you've got like Maryland Live. You've got National Harbor. So like some big, like National Harbor is one of the biggest rooms in America, honestly. Of course you got Texas, but like fuck Texas, man. Like I'm not going to Texas. Vegas, I don't really actually check them. I haven't seen the games in Texas. I don't know if it's just because I don't ever scroll past that region, or if because like the Lodge and Texas Card House aren't on Bravo. They probably have like their own apps or whatever. But once again, like I have zero interest in that state. But then yeah, Vegas, of course. Vegas also has a lot of action. But I would wager that Commerce is still probably the biggest room and has the most action of any card room in America. You know, like the only thing that can really compete is like the two rooms that can compete the biggest, I would say, are like for 510 would be like the National Harbor and Bellagio. That those two also typically tend to spread like bigger games regularly. But yeah, I chose LA because A, love the weather, B, there are just so many places to play, and we're close to Vegas. So like if I do want to go to Vegas, it's only a 4-hour drive. It's like only 4 hours, and it's like, yeah, but I drive across America when I move. Slash when I go to visit family, half the time I drive. So I don't care. I can't find any good tables to play, bro. I really can't. I've been just like literally playing and talking for 30 plus minutes, 35 minutes now. And I have nothing to show for it. Probably played 100 hands. But this is absolutely how some of my nights go. Like, I cannot lie. Like, if I'm not finding good spots and good seats and good this and good that, I'm not playing the game. Like, I really am that picky. Like, I don't give a shit. I have, what is it? Whoa, look at that. Perfect. That's something to celebrate. We just passed it, bro. 50K hands. I thought we already passed it, but I guess we were like just under. I was gonna say I have 50K hands playing Hold'em, and I've played every one of them this nitty and this tight and this stringent. Like that's just how I play. It simply is like the way of the game. But we'll take this seat here. We'll drop back down to micros, just because there actually are some fish down here. It looks like, and some more seeds and this and that. So I'll play another. I mean, we can keep the table as well. Although I don't want to keep getting through by this guy right here. I should have checked that last hand that they threw. Oh boy, to see if they had a decent hand or not. 4x is unfortunate, but it's all good. We can still make plenty of money on this table. That's why I'm happy to keep it. But yeah, playing 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. Oh, I bought him for 10. That's smart. That's good. Sometimes I don't get the whole slider thing up. Didn't really even notice that. My bad. All right, but yeah, just playing this one table and then the other few micros is fine for me at the moment. I really don't care. 72%. It's like, yes, please. 72 and a 69. Jesus. Cool. I think like 5x is good here. Something like kind of in the middle of my two normal sizes. Back doors. That's all I can say. Overs, you know. Once you hit the backdoor card, you got to keep betting. All right. Well, that is a scare card, but like honestly, they could have ace high here, so I'm gonna not bet it. I'm gonna give it up. I'm gonna give it up. I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. But thank God we didn't hit the 9. Whew. That would have been bad. That would have been really bad. Here's one of those spots where there's two things that we're gonna do here. We're gonna check and see how they react, because A, we do have showdown value, and B, this is one of those spots where like if you get to the turn, and like really whatever hits, and you've gotten this person checking in position and this person checks twice, like that's a lot of information that you can then use to then bet on, say, even a turn like this, which is really a horrible turn card. Like that's one of the most connected turn cards you could possibly even get. When I think turn cards, I'm thinking like, 7 or below, or, pair any of these cards, like pair the 3, pair the 8, pair the king, like cards that make it so that people are less likely to have connected with the board. So I heard my space heater make some sound. Like, what the hell are you saying? I think this is a fine spot to toss out the normal. But yeah, like this is like the little bit of money that you save by not just blindly c-betting here, where both players clearly wanted to continue. All right, 28.19. When you see a $62 stack, I expect their stats to be so much worse than 28.19. So this is 128, just donged into us, huh? It's so fishy, man. But it's like I don't ever expect them to have like pure nothing here. I expect them to have like a mediocre hand, but I have a mediocre hand, and I don't. Here's my biggest thing about poker, and this is why I tend to just like kind of blindly go with hands. When I am, that's right. I was talking about this in some footage that I didn't actually use, but like against these bad players, I really do just like go with it. Like I don't care. Like if I'm at the top of my range, I'm at the top of my range, and that's kind of how I play my game. And the main reason for that is because I have no clue what people are going to do with their hands. There's two skills in poker. There's identifying your opponent's range and figuring out what the hell they're going to do with it. I feel like I'm really good at the first part. I feel like I am very good at figuring out what the hell people have. But I have no fucking clue what they're going to do with it. You know, that's like the part that I am just. So that's why I don't try to like guess. You know, I don't try to guess that part because I'm so bad at guessing that part. I just try to like almost like play node log GTO, where it's like I think I know what you have, so I'm gonna adjust your range in my brain this way, and then I'm just gonna kind of like play balanced against it because I don't know what the hell you're gonna do with your cards. But if I can figure out your range, then I can at the very least figure out what hands to not stack off against. Like I can at very least figure out how to be equitably profitable in any situation because I'm gonna know where your strongest hands are, and I will simply cut off my hands a little bit below that or a little bit above that, I should say, so that when we do end up getting it in, I always have an advantage, or I can typically know what scare cards are good for me and this and that. Like I understand the whole range advantage, the whole when your hand is capped or when your range is capped, or one of two things: either you're capped or you're slow playing, and I'm decent at trying to figure out when people are of that ilk, when they're just like a sneaky little fucker trying to check back with a nut straight on like a flush draw board, in a spot where like you pretty much never should, but when you do and then the river breaks off, it's like, holy shit, now here's some massive value for you because you effectively were drawing to a clean river card. So I can do that, but like I can't tell you what someone's going to do with their ace high. I have no idea about that part, especially because like I've been surprised called so many times, like, oh, I think they're gonna fold because I put them on a weak range. They do have a weak range, yet they still call me down because like either I'm not representing what I think I'm representing, or they don't give a fuck, or what. Like, and that's the thing, is like I not only do I not know, I bet if I asked some of these motherfuckers and like offered them $1,000 for their thoughts, they couldn't even fucking tell me. So that's why it's like, fuck it, bro. Fuck it. Find their ranges, adjust your hand / ranges to be more profitable and just play poker. And I know that might sound really, really stupid and basic, but like that's how I play the game. All right. We got 3-bet really small as a squeeze, and we are not in position to the squeeze to everybody, but we're in position to the person who re-raised. So like, fuck it. God, dude, one diamond here would make this so much better. So much better to call like not that size. I was gonna say half pot, not that size. Let's give us a little equity, Give us a little equity. All right. So we're closing in on that 40-minute time frame, and I know we didn't have like a ton of action this session, but I am still going to like try to keep these videos digestible just for the average person. Like once I know exactly when I start trailing off, and like around that 40 minutes, who the hell wants to watch more than 15 minutes at once? And honestly, especially if it's gonna be the same session, um, might as well cut it because it's just easier to pick back up on minute 50 of a session if that's like minute 2 of the next video rather than minute 50 of a 2-hour or 3-hour video or something. I think I'd rather just make 3, 4, 5 episodes. So we will end this video in just a moment or two. So 4x, this fucking sucks because this guy doesn't have like the biggest PFR and he doesn't have a lot of money behind. So like we can't like hit like ace jack x and like really screw over ace king. Like we're really just like kind of bent over by the equity right there. We're in that middle ground, whereas we're still getting punished a lot by better aces. Whereas if he has like 20 BB, like who gives a shit? We're not losing that much, and he could be spazzing, so who knows? But for 80 big blinds or so, or 75 big blinds, it's like, you really gotta. That's like too perfect zone of him. It's in the Goldilocks zone. It's like good for him. We want to have like 200 big blinds plus there so that when we do hit, we can like really take advantage. All right, let's play this queen, and we will end it so long as like nothing really interesting pops up after. I love b6-7 here, or raise 6-7 here when it goes to 201 after 30 and a call. It just like looks so good. I think this happened in one of our other videos, but I don't know. It just is like the perfect give me a lot of equity number, but like it doesn't look so big. Because I typically do quite a few very large pre-flop raises, and I know that those always have a bit of like the best way to word it is making people aware of someone's there who's raising big. You always have to be aware when someone's raising big because sometimes you want to limp in, sometimes you want to call a raise, and if there's a very aggressive player behind you, and I'm not saying that I'm very aggressive, but big raises are simply hard to play against. We've talked about this many times before, and it's just like the kind of mechanics of poker, but like it's simply harder to face a 6x open than it is to face a 2x open. Like that's just the fact of poker. And that when someone opens larger, it kind of says something about them in that A, they're willing to put in a lot more money pre-flop with maybe even a wide range of hands. Because if you see someone do that a lot, like, there have been plenty of sessions I have where, I don't play like very aggressive, I'm only playing 21-14. But when every hand I open is like 5x, 6x, 9x, it's like, what the fuck's this guy doing? Like, is he really have a good hand every time? And it's like, of course not. But I'm putting enough pressure on, like a 14% PFR is small enough that, like, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? Like, have a better hand than me, okay? One rarity of the time, like one very infrequent time that I open, and then you 3-bet or call, and my spidey sense goes off and we proceed accordingly. Or most of the time people just fold, and then you get to take advantage of the fish who doesn't want to fold because they treat the 6x open the same way they treat the 2x open, whereas a reg will actually treat it like a real open. So on that note, let's cut this recording and we're going to go into episode 8. I'm not going to leave any of my tables. Excuse me. I actually really like kind of like where we are right now. We will, of course, look for some higher stakes tables because, you do want to play higher as much as possible. Like, that is where the money is going to come from in poker. Oh, damn it. Our fish left. Funk. So this table is a complete wash, but whatever. We will keep hunting. That is behind the grind. That is like, everything's not going to go your way every time. And sometimes it almost like, it's not that it doesn't go our way. This session, it almost just went like nowhere. So we got to keep grinding, put in volume, and keep it up. So we will see you on the other end for this hand right here playing this person. Are they going to fold to my bet? Let's see. Thank you all. Love you all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.